How sharp does your game feel compared to, like, what you would say is your best version?
Great. We're winning. So I don't care about nothing else. And when it's my time, you'll know that it's my time.
This right here was Jimmy Butler on the 16th of March talking about playoff Jimmy. In other words, telling every single Warriors fan and media member that when he needs to be aggressive, he will be aggressive. Just over a month later, the Warriors have played in 2 playoff-like games and a real playoff game, and Jimmy Butler has not just looked good in every single one of those games, he has looked like one of the best players on the planet. I know everyone is seeing and hearing the quotes about him being the Robin to Steph's Batman. That's cool. But don't get it twisted, Jimmy Butler is Batman as well, and I think Steph Curry had to make sure Charles Barkley knows that.
He's not as great as you, but he's a really nice second closer to have on the team, correct?
Jimmy's nice. Don't get that twisted.
Because like I said, it's cool to call himself Robin, but this is an all-time great playing like an all-time great. And these last 3 games are showing the world that the man we know as playoff Jimmy is still as great as ever. And when I say he's been as great as ever, there is no way to over-exaggerate that. Because over his last 3 games, he is averaging 31 points, 7 boards, and 5 assists. The only blemish is Jimmy has inexplicably shot under 70% from the line in those games. That's not going to continue, but everything about Jimmy's game right now is at a superstar level. I mean, everything. How about the defense? Look at him here with Pods being aggressive against Bane initially, before then rotating back out to Jaren Jackson Jr., and the moment Jackson spins off Pods, look who's there. Or in this play where he immediately notices the mismatch with Edey on Curry in the paint, and just as Edey is collecting the ball, Jimmy sneaks around the back and strips it from him. Jimmy does it all as a defender. He has the size and physicality to match up against wings and guards, but he does most of his work off the ball. Just like Draymond Green, these are guys with elite defensive IQs. They know when to gamble, they know when to rotate, and when to just let their instincts take over. And when those two work together in tandem, it just gets scary. Like here where you have Jimmy hounding Scottie Pippen Jr. on the right-hand side. So naturally, he wants to go left. And who's there the moment he turns left? It's Draymond Green. Or how about this play from against the Lakers with Jimmy initially guarding LeBron. Dre then switches onto LeBron, who passes it to Hayes, and Jimmy is there to guard Hayes in the post, forcing a miss. This is what you get with Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green. There's a reason the Warriors have been the best defense in the NBA since trading for him, and just held the Rockets to a score of 85 points and their lowest first half score of the entire year. But there is one reason in particular Jimmy Butler has taken this Warriors team to a different level. There is a reason the Dubs have gone from a team below 500 when he joined to having the 3rd best record in the NBA since he joined. That one reason? The non-Steph Curry minutes. This is a team that has struggled with Steph on the bench for a decade. I'm not just talking about last year's Warriors or the year before. Even with Kevin Durant on the team, there was a huge difference when Steph would go to the bench because of his gravity, his playmaking, his off-ball movement, obviously his scoring. When James Harden called himself the system, well, Steph Curry is that and even more. He is the system, he is the franchise, he is the GOAT of the Golden State Warriors. So when a team has struggled for so long, when Steph has not been on the floor, you'd expect those struggles on the road in the playoffs. But this is not the same Golden State Warriors. This is no longer the non-Steph minutes, this is the solo Jimmy Butler minutes. And when Jimmy is on the floor by himself, it doesn't matter who is on the bench or who is on the floor. You do not want to match up against an aggressive Jimmy Butler, and that's what Houston saw in Game 1. Just look at here with Steph on the bench. Jimmy has the matchup against Tari Eason, and it's his patience, the initial jab before driving, and rising up for the jumper. Or how about on this play against Eason? Again, facing up, but this time Jimmy goes baseline, which makes Brooks help over, and instead of trying to make an impossible jumper, he throws a perfect dime to Gee in the corner for an open 3. This is why playoff Jimmy is one of the best players in the NBA, because I already showed you what he brings on defense. He was bringing that during the regular season. He was also bringing playmaking and timely shot making, but what he wasn't doing doing as much was being ultra aggressive as a scorer. So when you blend elite defense with great playmaking and then take the scoring up to 25 points a game, you get one of the best players on the planet. And that's what we're seeing. And what I love about Jimmy's scoring is just the patience and the angles at which he scores. This is what I mean. He has Şengün switched onto him. He initially tries to get to his spot, but Şengün does a good job. So he kicks it to Moody, gets it back from Moody, and then the step back jumper over Alpi, or this time against Thompson, backing it out, and just the pivot is so smooth, going outside, back inside, and knocking it down. And we obviously can't forget what he is able to do in the clutch. With a minute remaining and the Rockets still hanging on, Jimmy gets the switch onto Şengün, and we all know that's just not a matchup you want if you are Houston. And when talking about the non-Steph minutes, the numbers back this up as well, because with Jimmy Butler on the floor and Steph Curry on the bench, the Warriors have a plus 13 net rating, which would be better than the OKC Thunder. Does this mean Steph Curry is holding back the Warriors? I wouldn't say that, but when you have an aggressive superstar in Jimmy Butler, quite often playing against teams' second units with Steph on the bench, there's just not a second unit in the NBA that can match that. There's not many first units in the NBA that can match Jimmy Butler when he is playing aggressively, as we have seen in the playoffs before. And I just don't think you can put into words what he is doing for the Warriors right now. I get we're in a league where so many players can score 30 on a given night, and Jimmy has never been a guy who has averaged massive numbers in the regular season, hence the playoff Jimmy title, but every decision on offense and on defense, timely buckets, timely steals and deflections, elite playmaking, defensive intensity, this is one of the best players in the world. And they paired him with Steph Curry. Man, that was a mistake if I've ever seen one. And the beauty of Jimmy and Steph's play style is these guys aren't going to pound the ball. They will control the offense, which is what you want, but they are willing to play make and allow guys like Pods and Moody to flourish. Hence the reason why those guys have flourished, because they can still play their natural game. But instead of having to create their own advantages, you have two guys who can create those advantages for you, and all you have to do is put on the finishing touches. And sometimes it's even easier than that. Like here where both Rockets defenders go to Jimmy on the Pod screen. He slips and it's just a wide open layup. I don't need to show you guys how often that happens with Steph Curry. Heck, even this play where both defenders go to Steph, he finds GP2 and then Jimmy is wide open on the baseline for the finish. I can guarantee Jimmy wouldn't have had many shots more open than that in a half-court setting in the playoffs. But now you have both of these guys doing this on a consistent basis. It is a joy to watch. And if you want to hear me continue to talk about that, consider subscribing, dropping a like on the video would be cool. Most importantly, have a great day. Bye.